this, guys, really is, we're going to give you about an hour and kind of 15 minutes or so. Ask as many questions as you want. And myself and Louise are going to demonstrate 4 dishes. Now the idea of this is to give you basic cooking techniques, kind of what we're looking for in the dishes that you might come up with. What we don't want is if you submit a project, you do carbon copies of these dishes, okay? So we don't want that. So 4 simple dishes, it's kind of reflecting good mood food. You'll see we're using butter and cream because we don't discourage from that, it's all about moderation. We're using locally produced meats and fish, etc. And just bear in mind, when you do your projects, if you go forward, seasons change on food, okay? So you wouldn't be, say, serving asparagus in March because it's not in season, because it's coming from Egypt or Spain or Holland or wherever, okay? So just bear that in mind, your projects might change slightly as it progresses with seasonal produce. Just before we start, you'll notice the areas are well set up, tidy, organised. You mostly do it in your home economics classes. I imagine you do anyway, maybe you're not that tidy. But you know, you keep the area nice and tidy, things like cloths under your chopping boards. Why do you think we do that? Anyone know why we put a cloth on? So it doesn't slip, so you're going to take your fingers off, okay? So nice tidy area, colour-coded chopping boards, we'll explain more about them later. And one of the most important parts of your project as well is your time plan. Now we don't have one today because we've done this so many times now, we know it by heart. But a time plan is really crucial for you to produce your dish in the hour and a half that you have, okay? Now you actually have more than an hour and a half as such, because you have 30 or 40 minutes to get your equipment together and prepared, and we don't really push for the hour and a half. If you started going on to 2 hours, we'll start pushing a bit, but you know, you have plenty of time to prepare your dish, but the only way you'll achieve it, preparing your dish to the best of your ability on the day of the cook-offs, is being organised, having all your equipment at hand, and having a time plan. And I'm sure you do that in home economics, you know, and that's, you know, you've got an example in the project there, turn your gas on, blah, 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 peel your potatoes, all these steps until you get to your finished dish, and that's the only way you'll achieve it. So we're going to do 4 dishes. We're going to do a fillet of beef, we're going to do some plaice, I couldn't get brills, so we're going to do some fresh plaice and corn bouillard. We're going to do a winter salad, because people often think of salads as summer, and you can do lovely winter and autumn salads, and we're going to do a duck, breast of duck dish. So Louise is going to start, and here we go.
Okay, so I'm just going to start with the rosti. Okay, so if you look in your recipe sheets, it's just a basic rosti we're going to do today, but you can do a rosti pretty much any way you want, you can flavour it any way you want as well. So it's grated potato essentially, or grated root vegetable. You could use sweet, you could use carrots, you could do a combination of both. What it is with the potato is it's starchy, so it holds it together. So if you were doing something with another one, I'd suggest you use a bit of potato anyway, just to hold it all together. You could of course put like bacon or chorizo or different herbs as well into these, just to do different flavours. But the most important thing is to season it. You have to season everything because, sure, you know, you can have a bag of chips without a sprinkle of salt in it, something like that. You know, it just enhances the flavour of the food. And to keep tasting as well as you know, it's very important.
It's really important to taste as you cook, guys, as Chef just said there, because you know, as you're cooking, food changes. Textures change, flavours change, consistencies change. So unfortunately there's no students cooking in the kitchen today, but if you saw the students cooking in there today, you'll notice all of them will kind of have a spoon in here. Okay, that's for tasting. So they're constantly tasting, washing the spoon, so you don't double dip, and then taste again. And it's really important that, you know, because otherwise you can't develop your palate. You know, you can cook something, you know, too much salt, how are you going to know unless you taste it? And just remember, when it comes to seasoning, you can always add more. To start with a little bit of salt, remember salt brings out the natural flavour of foods, taste it, if you need a little bit more, add a little bit more. You know, don't start with a big handful of salt and then you end up with sauce that you can do nothing with, okay? Just remember to be tasting all the time.
Okay, so you can see I have it on the top there, and just the reason for that is I'm going to take out some of the excess water from the potato, and just get out a bit of the extra moisture. You see it holds a lot. And you will keep it small because that helps, like I was saying earlier, starch is a type of glue, so it will hold everything together for you, especially if you're using other ingredients. So in that then, just a bit of seasoning, a bit of salt, and pepper. And today I'm just going to put a little bit of thyme through it, just because it goes well with beef, and we'll be using thyme in a few other bits as well. What's very important when you're cooking anything like this, especially if you want to get colour or to see it on movers, to make sure your pan is good and hot. So you can see I had that on there earlier, so just to be mindful that it's not too hot, and it just stops food sticking. Today we're going to do the rosti in a ring just for presentation. So to do this then I'd recommend putting some oil on the inside because it just makes it easier to take it out later. And you'll be fighting with it a bit with the knife. I'll show you afterwards. You'll go around here to take it off, but the oil just helps that stop that kind of sticking. It just makes it, make sure you have enough seasoning. We're going to pack it really tight into the ring, and what that does is just gets rid of all the air pockets, so it's nice and compressed, and you'll end up with a nice looking product as well. So keep forcing it in as much as possible. We're going to brown it on both sides and then we're going to finish in the oven because you see it's quite high and this is raw potato, so you want it to be cooked nice right, all the way through. You can start this off as well from a half cooked potato if you wanted, if you were saving time, and if you just wanted to cook it in the pan. So you could have your potatoes cooked in the skin, parboiled, so they're maybe just bring them up to boil, take them off and then have them peeled and grated and you're mixed through it, and then you can stop it from going black as well.
And just when you're putting your dishes together, guys, obviously spuds feature quite a lot in dishes, especially in Kerry actually. We've had dishes with a small piece of chicken and 5 big balls of mash, you know. So just think, you know, the main part of your dish is your beef, you know, then you've got your potatoes, your carbohydrate, etc. Just bear that in mind when you're producing your dishes. And you know, you don't have to put a load of stuff on the plate, 3 or 4 nice elements. Well, the mistake a lot of chefs make is they might cook this dish, they look at it and they go, oh, it's missing something. And they might stick a slice of kiwi on the side, you know, and it looks good. Kiwi doesn't go with meat, you know, so why would you do it? But that's a mistake that a lot of people make. Your mentor chef will help you with that. So you might send us a dish, it's just a piece of chicken with 3 balls of mashed potato, which we've had, and then when you start communicating with your mentor, you look at your dish and we say, look, this is what you should try, this is what you should do, this is what you should do. And if you got on well with that, we might add another element to the dish and another element, and that's how the mentoring works. And it's vital that you use your mentor. It's the only way you'll produce dishes of the standard that you saw there on the video.
So you see there when I put it into the pan, I started moving it straight away, and that's just to stop it sticking. And you do the same with meat as well, and same with fish. What you want is just to get it kind of nice and neat in the pan. Like I said, we'll be finished in the oven, so initially you just want to get a nice bit of colour on this. Pop it onto one of these and then in.
Like Chef said there, you can add celeriac, carrot, sweet potato. We've had loads of nice recipes actually. They're nice things to make, you know?
Yeah, you can put meat as well in there, there's one with crab or anything like that.
I think we had a black pudding rosti one year with porridge, black pudding and apple. So, yeah.
We're just going to pop that in, so that should take, by the time we have the beef and the sauce and everything made, the roast will be ready, okay?
Okay, so go cook the beef. Using fillet beef, only have small pieces here. Fillet beef is your prime cut beef. So that's the beef that cooks quickly. It's not stewing beef, okay? So you'd be using things like strip loin, sirloin, ribeye, fillet, etc. So it's a nice local fillet. You can see it's not bright red, okay? If you're buying beef or steak and it's bright red, it's too fresh. It hasn't been hung, it hasn't been matured. Beef should be matured for really ideally 21, 28 days. Most of the beef you buy is maybe matured for 14. But if you can get nice mature beef, it's better. So we've only got a small piece of beef there, maybe about 6 ounces. Now how we're going to cook this is, red hot pan, a little bit of oil, and we're going to sear the beef off on both sides. Do you know why we sear off meat, guys, when you cook it? Why you put it into a cold pan? Does anyone know why? Okay. Yep, sears in the flavours, yeah, okay. So it sears in the flavours, and it stops all the juices coming out of the meat, and you get a lovely caramelisation. So again, a roasting hot pan, a little bit of oil. I'm going to season my beef on both sides, just before it hits the pan, not too early. She'll start drawing the moisture out of the meat if you season it and leave it sitting there. And pepper, we're using sea salt, which is higher in essential minerals and lower in sodium. And you can get lovely local, someone around Cornwall doing local sea salts, whether in Bear or somewhere like that. So red hot pan. I'm going to sear this off. Now, I'm going to cook this fully in the pan. How do people eat their beef? How many eat beef pink, medium? Stick your hand up. Yeah, eat beef medium. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Bit 5. Good man. So there's a few more than that last week. But you know, red meats are generally served pink, unless it's a stew. And then you keep all the lovely juice and flavour, etc. So we're going to seal it off. Now if I was cooking this well done, and it was a bigger steak, I would possibly finish it in the oven. But I'm going to actually cook the meat kind of medium rare in the pan. So you want really good caramelisation. You can even do the size of the steak. Same if you're doing a chicken breast, a rack of lamb, a loin of lamb, a strip loin steak, anything like that. Okay, you can even do the sides. And that's going to keep all the juices inside the meat, okay? You see we've got a lovely colour on there now. Really caramelise it, you know. Now reduce the heat a little bit. We're going to add some butter. I'm using unsalted butter because it doesn't burn as quickly. I'm going to add a sprig of thyme. I'm going to get a bit of flavour in there. Maybe a clove of just crushed garlic as well. Now we're going to add a little bit of butter. What we're going to do is continue cooking this steak, but as it's cooking we're going to baste it with all the juices, okay? So what that means is just taking all your butter and juices and constantly basting it over the meat. And what that does is, it gives you a perfectly pink piece of meat all the way through. Now the other important part of cooking steak, or any meat really, is to let it rest when it's cooked. Anyone know why we let meat rest when it comes out of the oven? Anyone know? No? My microphone's on as it goes. Yes. Anyone know why we rest meat? Okay. If you imagine a piece of meat cooking in a pan, or cooking in the oven, when it comes out of the oven it's contorted up. Okay? If I threw you in an oven for 5 minutes, you come out clean. Okay? If I threw you on the counter for 2 minutes to relax, you start relaxing. And what happens is the meat becomes more tender, and it means all the juices go back through the meat. Okay, so you get a lovely tender piece of meat that's very easy to carve and nice and thick. So we're going to keep basting this. How long do you think we're going to cook this for, guys? What are you doing? There's all the steaks there, medium rare. Any idea? 15 minutes? Okay. Mostly about 5 to 6 minutes for those little steaks there, okay? So I'm going to keep basting them. Louise is going to get on with the garnish.
Okay guys, so for the garnish to this, we're kind of going slightly traditional, so like good steak you'd always have, or most likely have, onions, mushrooms, and then today we'll add some lardons of bacon. So out of the three, which would you think would take the longest cooking time? Now bear in mind this is cut quite small. Okay? Nope. The mushrooms you said is it? The shallots take the longest, just because they're quite hard and then they're that bit bigger. And the last thing you want to be biting into with your steak is kind of a raw onion, okay? So we'll start off with that, then we'll add the bacon and then we'll add the mushrooms. So the bacon will add a bit of salt, so you just have to mind your seasoning in this as well. And like Chef was saying earlier, you just have to keep tasting it. So again, a good hot pan, bit of oil. We're going to be adding a small bit of butter to this as well. Again, start moving them around straight away, not stop them from sticking. Again, you want to get ready for the colour on these.
Have you heard of the term sauté, guys? Have anyone heard of sauté? Dry and hot pan. You know, when you're cooking, you're not only tasting, you're looking at what you're doing, and you're listening to what you're doing as well. You know, if you have it hot, it's not going to sizzle, you know it's not hot enough. So,
and a small bit of salt to this. And just to hold back a bit, because that bacon will be a bit salty as well. So. Aware of your heat all the time, keep checking. So different powers of gas, so you know, you're using gas at home, and then you're using gas here, might be that bit different. So just, you know, get used to using that and knowing like what's high and what's medium. Get it hot and you can take it off. Because this pan is still roasting on as is. They're going to continue cooking if I left them there like that, okay? So what you want to do is just to get a bit softer. Now we can add some of the bacon. You see we're using very little oil as well, because there'll be a bit of fat coming off the bacon there. Hope you all ate earlier. I was just making me hungry. It smells. We all ate earlier, please. Now again, here you could use like a chorizo or something like that for some lovely chorizos and that, and cassoberries. Here, for example, trying to be local and popular. And then lastly, we'll add our mushrooms there as well. And a bit of pepper.
Now you're blessed with local producers. I mean, Cork's starting here in Kerry. We're getting there in Kerry. But you know, we've found people going out and foraging seaweed. We've had people using apples in their granny's gardens. We've had all sorts, you know, lots of local produce, which is really important, you know, to support these local guys. You'd much rather have a local bacon than one that's produced in France, you know. So you can get lovely dry cured bacons around Cork, Jack McCarthy in Cantor, all cured bacons. We have guys in Kerry that do chorizos, salamis. We have a snail farm down the road from my cookery store now. About half. It's actually a snail farm. Using snails. So if you want to get local snails and do something with snails, you can. You know?
So guys, they're softening up then there, so I'm just going to take them off and they'll continue cooking there, so I don't want them to kind of cook any further than finish up nicely there.
Okay, so the last part of the dish is the pepper sauce, guys. Show you how to make a simple sauce. I've got my pan here that I cook the beef in. So all these little sediment in the bottom of it, that's all flavour, so I'm going to keep that, okay? So what I'm going to do is just pop that back on the heat. I'm going to add some cracked black pepper. Now if you want a really intense pepper sauce, you add the cracked black pepper to a hot pan, then make the sauce. If you don't want it so intense, you make the sauce and add the pepper at the end. So I'm going to add my black pepper. Now if you look at this dish, all we're doing is a fancy version of steak, onions and mushrooms. That's all it is, okay? So we're using shallots instead of onions. We're doing a rosti instead of chips, and we're just making it a little bit more fancy. Now, you might add something else to this dish if you were doing it, okay? You might look at what's in season, and you might add some vegetables. You might not just do this dish. So, nice hot pan. Now, I don't have brandy, but I have white wine. Usually you deglaze the pan with some brandy, or red wine, or white wine. What deglazing means, does two things. It burns off the alcohol of the wine, okay, so you just pour the brandy, and it also takes all that sediment off of the pan. If you're using brandy, just bear in mind it will flame. So don't be looking over the pan when you're doing it because you'll lose your eyebrows. So I'm just using white wine. It's not normally enough alcohol in that to flame, but we're going to use some wine. So in the pan, wine doesn't flame, it's not enough alcohol. That's lifted all the sediment off of the pan. I've got my beef resting in there. Then we're going to add some beef stock, or you could use something called demi-glaze, which is like a gravy. Now you're obviously not going to have time to make stocks, but if you can make them and bring them on the day, and just send us photographic evidence that you've made it, okay? It's like, you know, if you're making something that has to be made the day before, because of the time, you can do that, but we do need to see photographs that you made it, and you did get somebody from a local restaurant to make it for you, okay? So, bring that to the boil, reduce that down a little bit, just to concentrate on all the flavours, and a good splash of cream. And that's a basic pepper sauce. A little bit of mustard at the end, a little bit of French mustard. And I might throw in a little bit of chopped parsley at the end as well. Now that dynamic learning account that your teachers are going to have access to for you to use in the classroom has a load of sauces on it. Okay? It will show you how to bone chickens, it will show you how to chop an onion, it will show you how to make a classic pepper sauce. There's so much information on that, and that's what you need to be logging into when you're doing your business, okay? So we've got this there. Bit of cream. So I say don't shy away from the cream, it's all about moderation.
You can use different things instead of cream as well. Like a lot of people are using maybe yogurts, creme fraiches, things like that now as well, which are just better for you when they're lighter and give you a different kind of flavour as well.
That's our sauce, guys. And then it will juice down. And you know, if you're making a fresh pepper sauce like that with cream or yogurt or creme fraiche, it's a lot better than using a packet of Baron add the water, bring it to the boil. What does convenience food contain a lot of, guys? Susie was talking about it. If you talked about it earlier, if you buy a packet of soup and you add water to it, what does it contain a lot of? Salt and sugar. And that's why we have an obesity problem in Ireland. Not everybody's eating McDonald's every day of the week. It's the fact that people who eat convenience food and sugar is fat at the end of the day. And people have a perception that it's easier to open a packet and add water than it is to cook fresh. It isn't, you know? It's just about learning. So that's my pepper sauce here. I'm just going to taste it. See if there's enough pepper in it. Again, look, throw a little bit of butter in at the end. It's really good. Got all the flavour from the beef. Needs a bit more pepper though. So a little bit of butter gives it a shine. A bit more pepper. And then we're going to present this. Now when you're presenting your dishes, guys, hot food goes onto hot plates. Okay, just bear that in mind. Obviously if you're using a glass plate or a slate or a board to present your food, you can't heat it up. But over the last few years, with all the dishes, they've been so close. But we're very transparent with our marketing, you know, we have to be. But they've been so close between every of the 27 dishes that were cooked at the finale last year. It literally come down to who had a hot plate when they served their food, who didn't have fingerprints on the plate, stuff like that. That's literally what it's come down to over last year. So nice hot plate. Do you want to present that, please?
Yeah. Again, hot plate, hot food. So I had that like cool for a while. So obviously I'm going to bring back to the heat just to warm everything up again, just for a few minutes because we don't want to overcook anything. As you saw there, I was going around the edge of the ring there just to ease the rusty away from the side.
Take your juices when you're resting, put them into your sauce, okay, for the flavour. Don't want to waste them.
So hopefully this will come out. As I was doing it there, I'll show you quickly. Just keep your knife to the edge of the ring. Now this is hot, but you know, you can use a towel as well. After a while, you don't feel your fingers in this business anymore. And just to ease it away gradually. What you're left with is a nice tower potato or a courgette or a combination of whatever you have. It'll also give your dish a nice bit of height. These are actually great actually just for plating in general. So if you had some vegetables cooked off and you were planning to construct your dish, you put this on a plate, put your vegetables into it, or like even a puree, carrot puree, anything like that. When you take it off, then you're left with a nice round circle. Just simple things like that. Same with a salad or anything like that. So we're going to just cut a bit of the steak here. I think it's nice to cut it a bit because it lets the customer see into the steak. It's cooked lovely. So I'm going to present that over here. A nice 3 slices, let the customer see what they're eating. And a bit of garnish. So make sure you can see all the elements of the dish. So you have a bit of bacon there, a bit of mushroom, some of the shallot. And just because you have all of this doesn't mean you have to use it. Like Chef was saying, the steak is the main ingredient in your dish. So that's the hero.
And if you're struggling with presentation, guys, that's again how you're meant to help you. Okay? We've had dishes that's pretty ropey at the start, and then we help you with all of that, you know. And on the day of the cook-offs, your mentors are there, they're helping you.
As well, I don't feel the need you need to flood the plate with the sauce or anything like that. You can always just add a bit, put the rest on the side, and then it's up to the customer. Because again, you don't want to cover that lovely meat, see the lovely colour and all that. So you can always put some on the side.
And when you present your dishes on the day of the cook-offs or the finale, just have a little bit of sauce on the side, you know. You're not putting much on the plate, just so the judges can taste it, okay?
Yeah, because you might have gone to long effort to make that sauce, and then if you only have a little bit, the judges, you know, really want to taste a bit of that as well.
So simple, guys?
Yeah. So that's the first dish then, okay?
That's a simple little dish. The hardest part of that dish is cooking the beef to the right degree. And that's just practice, guys. That's you practicing, really, okay? We've got medium rare beef there. You could go medium, but if you are serving beef or lamb, unless it's a stew, you're not going to do a stew really with the time you have. Just make sure that it is nice and thick, okay? Right, up to easy to say next.
Yeah. So what is it? Yeah. Okay guys, so we're going to go ahead with the duck then. So, anybody here eat a lot of duck? Yeah? How would you eat your duck then? Yeah, with your hands. So we're going to try and cook the duck you know, just a little bit, not rare as such, but you know, have a nice colour inside, but well then juices. And again, that's down to resting the meat and everything. So as you know, duck is quite fatty. You can see there where the meat starts. So we're going to trim away a bit of that, but then we're going to keep this meat here. And it's going to be nice when it's finished cooking. You can score the top, which is already done here. We might just score it again. And that'll give you just a nice look at the meat when it's done. Nice crisscross shape. And like I said, we're just going to trim away any of the extra bits of fat there because there's no meat there. And that's just going to flood your pan when you're sealing it off.
When you're cooking chicken, guys, what temperature do you think you should cook chicken to the centre of it to make sure you're not going to kill anybody? Does anyone know the temperature you cook chicken to? Okay, the core temperature should be 75 degrees centigrade in the centre. Then you're not going to kill anybody, okay? You can get away with serving rare red meats, but chicken obviously has to be cooked through. But you don't have to cook it to death. You know, there's an awful habit in Ireland of overcooking. What happens when you overcook food, guys? What do you lose? Flavour, nutrients, colour, toughens up. So it's all about that overcooking, guys, okay? Fish is the same. Some fish is served slightly pink, wild salmon. Think of sushi. You all had sushi? You try sushi? Raw fish, once it's fresh, it's perfectly safe. Most fish to eat raw, okay?
Okay guys, so as your recipe says, we're going to add a bit of 5 spices to this stock. So I just put it on the board there. I just find it's easier to use because if I put that straight out, it's going to pour out because I don't know the duck is ruined. So have it off to the side or even in a little dish or something, and then you add it as you need to. So just going to sprinkle it on there and then just rub it in a bit. We're going to do a glaze with this as well, with some honey and soy. So duck is really, it takes flavours like this really well. Okay, again we're going to season that. Just going to season the one side and then when we put it into the pan we'll season the other side. Now we're not going to use any fat cooking this because there's no fat on it, so all you need to do is get your pan put in hot. And again we're going to seal it just like the beef. Seal it on the fat side down first, season this side, and then we're going to turn it over and seal it that way. And again all the edges as well. What that does is it stops all the moisture coming out and it doesn't dry out your duck, okay? So good and hot again. Again, start moving it straight away. Bad pan. The more you move it, then the less likely it's going to stick on you.
So give me an example of the local produce, you know, locally produced stuff, local honey. Okay. 2 minutes of my cookery school there, G&B's, she has a few hives, local honey's better for you. Cheap honey, Boyne Valley, it's not even honey, you know. So, you know, local produce here is what you're looking for.
Okay guys, you can smell the spices on that. What we're going to serve this then with is going to be stir-fried pak choy. So again, you're kind of sticking to the Asian flavours. So we're just going to get that on the pan and get our glaze ready for it. Now you can have your duck cooked off with all your flavourings in that, and then it's going to take maybe 4 to 5 minutes in the oven. So you can have this ready in advance as well, if you're worried about your, your time plan. So for that glaze, then we're just going to add a bit of honey. And try to use local, like Mark was saying, local is better if possible. And then just a splash of soy. So soy sauce is quite salty as well, so just be aware of that when you're putting your dish together as well. So we've already seasoned that dough, so just a small bit of salt or the soy. And just make a nice glaze out of it, and that'll give your duck a lovely shine. Okay?
So you could use that glaze with salmon, it's nice on salmon, something like that. Think fatty food, salmon and duck, you know, lamb, they're often served with something sweet. Turkey with cranberry sauce, duck with orange sauce, you know, stuff like that. And the reason being is fatty food, if you serve something sweet with it, it makes it more palatable. Okay, it makes it easier to eat. So that's why you serve applesauce with your roast pork, stuff like that. So what we're going to serve with with this duck dish, because it's a fatty meat, we don't want anything too fatty with the dish. We don't really want a heavy sauce or a creamy sauce or something like that. So we're going to make our own little sweet chilli dressing. Like you buy in the bottles, we're going to make it. We consume more sweet chilli dressing in Ireland than any other country in Europe, by the way. You're mad for the stuff, guys, okay? It's served on everything. But we're going to make one. So what I have in here is equal amounts of brown sugar and caster sugar and water. I'm just going to pop it onto the stove, just bring it to the boil, simmer it for about 30 seconds. No longer, because you'll end up with caramel. Then we're going to add our chilli, some lime juice, some Thai fish sauce, which obviously isn't local. You're familiar with Thai fish sauce? It stinks, okay? I'll pass it around a minute, you can have a smell of it. This is used a lot in Thai cookery, with lime and sugar and chilli. They're the three prominent flavours you'll get in most Thai dishes, okay? So we're going to add some of that at the end. It's made with fermenting fish, basically. So let's come to the boil. And my red chilli here, just bear in mind, the smaller the chilli, the hotter it is, okay? Take off there, and I'm going to take the seeds out because I don't want it overly spicy. And if you remove the seeds and that pith, you remove about 50-60% of the heat of the chilli, okay? So I'm going to take out the seeds. Wash your hands afterwards, guys, okay? You scratch your eye, you're going to know about it afterwards, okay? So just make sure you wash your hands. And we're going to chop this as fine as we can. My sugar and vinegar, my sugar and water's there. If that goes really cold and you pop it in the fridge, it becomes syrupy. A little bit like the Thai sauce that you're familiar with, okay? So, just on using knives, guys, it's a good time to maybe explain a bit about knives. Okay, you obviously need a sharp knife. Sharp knives we just use. You're less likely to cut yourself with a sharp knife because you have to put less pressure on the knife. If you do cut yourself, you get a clean cut. If you take your finger off, they can sew it back on. If you use a blunt knife and a ragged knife, they're going to sew it back on and it's going to be a funny angle. Okay, so just like sharp knives, and the only reason people cut themselves is when they don't concentrate chopping. Okay, now myself and Chef can be chopping away all day, hopefully not cut ourselves, but we've been doing it for years. Okay, most important thing, cloth under your chopping board. Okay, good sharp knife. Fingers, we've all seen this, fingers tucked in. Fingertips on the board, tuck them in, thumb behind. No little pinky. Okay. No thumb, no fingertips, okay? It can feel really uncomfortable, but as soon as you get used to it, it becomes second nature. Most chopping, the knife doesn't leave the board. There is a certain way of slicing, you're more likely to cut yourself. Most chopping, the knife doesn't leave the board, so it's a rocking motion. Fingers tucked in, watch what you're doing, don't be looking around, Facebooking, Snapchatting, talking, doing whatever. Just keep your eyes on the board, nice sharp knife. And that's just practice, guys, okay? And the finer we can chop this, the better. So if you speak to Chef there, Mark Murphy, about how many students he has to send to A&E every year in the first 4 or 5 weeks of studying, you know, I suppose that's how you learn as well. So a little bit of red chilli in there. I have some fish sauce. I'm going to taste this when I made it. Some lime juice. You lime a good squeeze and squash on the board.
Yes.
Little tip for you, if you find you can't get much juice out of a lime, if you cut it in half and pop it in the microwave for 15 seconds, it warms the lime and you'll get more juice out of it, okay? Because we obviously don't get, limes don't grow in Canada. So you don't have to buy that. So a little bit of lime juice. I'm going to taste that. Again, it's all about tasting, guys. If you don't taste, you don't know what it's like. I'm going to add a bit more fish sauce because I love it. It's quite sweet, but it will complement the dish because we have that fatty duck. Last thing I'm going to add a little bit of chopped fresh coriander just to complement the chilies and the limes, okay? So coriander, when you're chopping herbs, it's the easiest method of chopping. Pick off the big stalks, and then chop a little bit for the stir fry as well.
I'm just toasting off some sesame seeds there. It just brings out the flavour that bit more. So you don't need any oil for that. It's just want a nice kind of dry roast on the seeds. You can do the same with pine nuts or cashew nuts, peanuts, anything like that. Lovely in salads and especially on green vegetables like this.
sauce. And then what we're going to serve this dish with is something called pak choy, which is this vegetable. It does grow in Ireland. It actually grows very quickly. It grows in about 6 weeks. You can grow it very easily at home. Has anyone tried this before? Chinese kind of cabbage. Really nice. We're using Asian flavours. Now you could put baby corn into this, mushrooms, peppers, etc. What would you put as a carbohydrate for this dish? Remember Susie was talking earlier about carbohydrates. What do you think you'd put with this dish? Would you serve mash with it? Not really, would you? Asian. What do you think you'd use? Okay, brown rice, soba noodles, stuff like that. Okay, that's what you'd be using. So, do you want to prepare that, Louise?
Yeah.
Now, so we're going to do a little stir fry. Does anyone want to come up and cook and present this dish, guys? Is there any volunteers to come up and do the stir fry? Come on, lads, I'll drag somebody up.
It's very quick, very quick.
It's very quick. All you got to do is stir fry and present the dish. No volunteers. Very shy, lads. Jeez, we had a queuing up last week. Yeah.
Oh yeah, over here.
Is it good, man? Excellent. Well done.
So for the pak choy, we're just going to half it. You can see there's a nice kind of stem in the centre, and you want to keep that there because that's going to hold it together nicely for you. And just maybe cook that a bit faster. We're probably going to go quarters again. And again, you don't need to overcook these. It's a real nice crunchy vegetable. You want to keep that green and keep the nutrition in there as well.
You want to go up to me there, okay? What are you going to do for me? What do you like the knives? Okay. We've got a few scallions, okay? We're going to use a small office knife. We're not going to give you the big knife. All you're going to do, don't take it from the please. Yeah, just at an angle. Just like that. Okay. Just take your time, fingers in, I'll keep an eye on you. Okay? Yeah, slice some scallions. That's it, we're there, yeah? That's excellent. Well done, mind your fingertips, that's it. That's really good, yeah. And you go all the way down here. Yeah, you do kind of two, yeah. All the way down. You've done that before, haven't you?
Would you be cooking at home, guys? Yeah. Your family, yeah? Do you take care of the maybe once or twice a week? Take over for parents, yeah? What would you be cooking? Molly, maybe? Lasagna, shepherd's pie, yeah. That's how I would have started at home as well. You know, just helping out at home, we had B&B and stuff like that. So, you know, try and help out as much as you can. You never know what you'll be interested in doing as well after that.
That's excellent.
Sorry, Chef, there.
Yeah, fine. So we're going to do a little stir fry. The most important thing with stir frying is a hot pan, ideally a wok. You need to get this smoking hot before you add the oil and then your ingredients. The reason being is when you stir fry, you're stirring the food, you're tossing the food in the wok. If your wok isn't hot on the sides, when you're stirring it, flipping it, the food goes cold. No, it's not hot enough. It should be cooking as it hits the side of the wok. It should be constantly sizzling. If you don't do that, you end up with a stew and stir fry. Okay? So I'm going to get that wok nice and hot. That's really good. Well done. Excellent. Yeah.
We're just allowing our duck to rest the same way we do the meat, and for the same exact purpose. It just lets the meat relax and all the juices inside the muscles, because the meat is a muscle essentially, so when it comes out, the chef was saying it's kind of in a shock, so you have to let it relax and rest.
So we're going to get our plate nice and hot, serve the duck on, it's under the salamander there. And what Cole's going to do now is do the stir fry. Okay, so when you're stir frying, guys, the type of oil you use can be quite important. You wouldn't use extra virgin olive oil. You know, it's too strong, and secondly it burns at quite a low temperature. I'm using peanut oil or groundnut oil. You can use coconut oil, great health benefits. Coconut oil, you know, it's been proven, you can rub it into your skin and your face and your hair and God knows what else as well. But it's a really, really good oil, okay? Peanut oil is a neutral oil, so it has no flavour, so it's really good for kind of high heat cooking where you don't want the flavour of the oil. You could use sesame oil, if you like, just to smell it's quite strong. Right, come over to me, Cole. And we're going to get this smoking hot, okay? So our wok is going to be absolutely smoking hot here.
Last week.
Well, the hand is
And a shield.
Now, so what we're going to do is add a good splash of the oil, guys, and then we're going to stir fry our vegetables. Now you, like say, can put in carrots, peppers, It's nice to put them in first. This doesn't take long to cook. Okay? These kind of leafy green vegetables, little bits of broccoli. You know, the purple sprouting broccoli season now. You could use something like that. You know, you can really add some nice seasonal flavours. Right, you ready?
Yeah.
Now I'm going to show you the first one, just so you don't burn yourself. Now carefully, what we're going to do, chefs would throw it in one go. But you're not going to do that, okay? You're going to go nice and carefully. It might sizzle a little bit. Stand back, okay? Pop it into the wok. Stand way back.
And wait for me where possible. At least the flash will back up in it.
Lovely. That's enough of that. Now what we're going to do, about 30 seconds, then we're going to give it a toss or a little stir. Okay, so you can, if you want, maybe you can toss the pan, or you might just give it a little stir now and again. We've got a lovely colour on the pak choy. What we're doing is wilting it. Have you heard the term al dente or al dente? Have you heard that term before? When it comes to cooking vegetables, it means not to overcook them. Okay. If you overcook green vegetables, they go mushy, you lose all the flavour, all the nutrients, all the colour. Any vegetables should be served with a slight bite. Nothing worse than overcooked green beans, you know? Overcooked spinach, overcooked broccoli, anything. So we're going to take about a minute and a half, 2 minutes at most. And then we're going to throw in our sesame seeds, our scallions, some coriander, and a little bit of the sweet chilli dressing. Okay, nice and simple.
Yeah, I'll pass it in there for you.
Now, we may need a little bit of salt at the end, but we're using the fish sauce to replace the salt, okay? Just grab that. Do you remember clean plates, guys? Think of it when you go to a restaurant. You don't want to see fingerprints all over a plate. You don't want to see hair in your food, you know? You don't want to see dribbles. You know, you want it to be presentable. You eat with the eyes as well, guys. It's a big part of eating, but it still has to taste good. Okay. Right, so I'm going to go with scallions. Just at the end, so later on. We're going to add some chopped coriander. I'm just going to take the wok off of the heat for a minute, because if you add the dressing when the wok is hot, the dressing will evaporate. Okay? People make that mistake when they're stir frying with soy sauce. Soy sauce goes into the boiling, the roasting hot wok, it evaporates and becomes salty. Okay, so just bear that in mind, you know. So what you can do is get your wok on there. A second. We've got it, the sizzle stop. We're going to add our dressing. Okay, and that's it. So again, noodles, more colour. This is just giving you ideas, guys, of dishes, showing you basic cooking techniques. Stir fry, cooking a piece of duck, making a dressing. Okay, and dressings are great with food, guys. You don't have to go thick, heavy sauces. You know, nice little olive oil-based dressings and stuff. Fantastic. Salsas. We've had a lot of people using lovely salsas. Okay. Dressing. Again, tasting, guys. It's a nice little bit of heat and chilli off of that. And now we're going to get cold with Louise, present that dish, okay? So see the colours? You know, nice colours. Just nicely cooked. Don't overcook, guys.
Right, it's going to work away. You start plating whichever way you want.
Think about how you want to present it. No. So pak choy first anyway, okay? I think that's the main part of the dish is the duck. Yeah. So, just a little
My stuff is a little bit under, so I'm just going to pop it back under. But you want it to be under rather than over.
Good.
You can't take it back, you know, if your duck has gone over. So if so, just pop it under the grill or back into the oven for another minute or so, okay?
See your nice uniform presentation there? Chefs tend to present in odd numbers. What I mean by that is, if you're serving pan-fried scallops or pieces of monkfish, you tend to do 3 or 5. Chefs are a bit funny like that. It's a bit like florists, artists, stuff like that. 4 on a plate looks a bit odd, 3 looks lovely. So just bear that in mind, you know? 3 pieces of monkfish. Rather than 4. Yeah, that's really good, yeah. Okay. So what you're going to do is give your plate a little white. Yeah. Okay, just to get rid of any
The trick
of
for
that.
that white as well is you have a solution of white vinegar or cider vinegar and a bit of water, or have it in a spray gun or something like that. And if you put it onto the plate and then just wipe with a blue paper or something, it gets rid of any fingerprints or stains like that, or anything like that, so it's residue with a left line.
And whatever you want to do with your duck.
So you're going to be staring at a few slices to play around with.
Think about what Louise did on the beef. Okay? Do you need those on? Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
so that's going to be your presentation slide, so just think about that then as well. No pressure. It's almost like building.
The presentation comes to you guys. Look on the internet, look for cookbooks. Okay? Come here.
You like this already?
Eventually, you become a chef, you get asbestos fingers, so you just pick stuff up without learning yourself. That's nice. Yeah? And you've got the other piece as well, that's really good.
Yeah, you can put that maybe there.
Everyone has their own presentation ideas, but that's lovely, yeah? Now, I'm going to finish it. A little drizzle.
Again, the customer can see it.
Too much.
To last week's one as well, which
Yeah.
is great to see.
Yeah, that's
Everyone's
really
going to
nice.
plate up differently as well,
Yeah.
which is lovely. Everyone has their own style.
You can tell a good chef by a good drizzle dance, you know that? It's really good. Well done, you. Fantastic. Well done. Okay, deserves a round of applause for that, guy. Now, so there you go, that's our second dish, guys. What we're going to do now is a roulade of grill, which is a flat white fish. I have a place that's lovely, actually. Yeah. So, we're going to do a very quick little fish dish, and then we're going to do our winter salad. Now, when it comes to fish, fish is obviously good, nutritional value, etc. You get oily fish and you get non-oily fish. What's an oily fish? Full of omega oils. Salmon, mackerel, sardines, tuna. Okay, you can get Irish tuna certain times of year. We're using a white fish, still very nutritious, but it doesn't contain the oils. All the oils are from white fish in the liver. That's why you get cod liver oils. It's been proven if you eat mackerel once a week now, it's been proven to reduce your chances of Alzheimer's by up to 70%. It's also been proven if you get these omega oils into you when you're studying, you're going to study better because it's brain food. Your brain is 60% omega. Okay, things if you're making smoothies, put some flax seeds into them when you make a smoothie and grind them down, and you'll get your omegas from that. Okay, and it has been proven that you will study better. You know, and so just bear that in mind. So we're using white fish and we're using plates. I have a recipe grill, but I couldn't get grill, so I have fresh plates. Fresh grill there. Or fresh place. Now, this is already filleted. I was going to bring a whole one in and show you how to fillet it, but they had it all filleted in the fishmongers. Go to a fishmonger. If you want to fillet fish on the day, go to your fishmonger for an hour. You'll spend an hour with you showing you how to fillet fish, how to skin fish. That'll only be more than a delight to have you in there, okay? If you are filleting fish on the day, it's obviously going to open our eyes a little bit. Geez, you know, this guy's really researched it, used the dynamic learning, etc. So I'm going to skin the fish and good sharp knife, usually a flexible knife, called a filleting knife, okay? I'm just going to go down the centre first. Place in season, a lot of fish is seasonal. Certain times of year you might not get wild cod, you might only get farmed cod. Bear that in mind. Place this time of year with the cold waters is fantastic. So, I'm going to use 3 fillets. Now again, good sharp knife. I make this look quite easy. It isn't actually as easy as I make it look. What you can do is take a little bit of salt just on the end of your fingers so you can grip the skin of the fish easier. What you do is, the knife actually stays on the board. You're not really moving the knife, you're just zigzagging the skin. Okay? So, now if I was doing salmon, sea bass, I'd leave the skin on the fish when I pan fry it, because you get lovely crispy skin and that adds texture to your dish and also improves flavour and stops the fish drying out. But like, texture is really important in your dishes, guys, as well. So think about textures. You know, things like parsnip crisps on the beef, carrot chips, sweet potato crisps, little things like that. We had people making little black pudding bonbons last year. where they roll black pudding into little balls, put them through breadcrumbs and deep fry them. Lovely with pork, you know. So do think texture as well when you're cooking. So like I say, these dishes are just guidelines. Now, what we're going to do, I'm just going to use 2 for the actual fish, and the other one I'm going to use to make a fish mousse, a basic fish mousse. You'll find all of this on your dynamic learning, how to make these kind of things. You can make a chicken mousse for chicken. Put some black pudding in it, some sun-dried tomatoes, some roast peppers, and stuff your piece of chicken, okay? So what I'm going to do, 2 fillets there I'm going to use for the dish. Because we're about flatfish, there's no bones in it. Once you take it off the bone, there's no little pin bones, okay? And I'm going to chop up this piece here, and have a few fresh prawns there, and put them into the food processor. You might fry a few of them off as well to serve with the dish. A little pinch of salt at the beginning, because we want to mince this up, and the salt helps mince up the fish and break down the sinews. A little bit of pepper. Has anyone made one of these before? Mousses? Okay. What we're going to do, just give it a split. You don't want to puree it, you just mix it, okay? And now we're going to add the zest of the lemon. If you're not using organic lemons, just give them a good wash, get rid of the wax from the skin. We're just going to grate in some lemon zest, I'm making that slightly less than the recipe. Zest of a lemon. And then we're going to blend it a little bit more, and then we're going to add some cream. Quite often you see egg white pudding to mousses like this. I don't do it with white fish personally. There's nothing protein in fish. Now, a little bit of cream. And again, we're just going to blend it up to finish it. What we're going to do is spread that onto our fish, roll it up and bake it in the oven. How long do you think we'll bake it for, guys? Piece of fish like that. 10 minutes? 10 or 12 minutes is all that's going to take. Okay? You don't want to overcook your fish. Now what you could do, you could take a little piece of that, teaspoon, put it into boiling water, cook it for a few minutes, and you can taste it, see if it's seasoned correctly. I'm pretty confident that will be, but you could do that, okay? So we're just going to throw on a few herbs.
And also make a lovely filling for like a ravioli or something as well. Take that side of it.
So, onto your fish. Yeah, we've had actually students make lovely raviolis.
Yeah, making their own pasta as well, which is something not to be afraid of at all. It's beyond the dynamic learning as well.
Yeah. Okay, so we're just going on the underside of the fish. Now season the fish before it goes in the oven. So this is a baked fish dish. You can put crab meat into the mousse. Know someone that has lobster, you can put some lobster into it. I don't think we've had anybody bring a live lobster in yet.
Not yet.
We might do. Okay, then we're just going to roll it up. And then just onto a tray. A little bit of oil. A little bit of oil. And that's going to go into a low enough oven, about 150 degrees centigrade. It's about gas 3.5. A little bit of salt and pepper. And what we're going to serve this with is a classic French sauce called beurre blanc. Some chopped herbs, a butter sauce. And we're going to serve it with a julienne of vegetables just to show you some more nice skills. Salt and pepper, you know, if you want. Splash of white wine, there's no harm. And when it's almost cooked, a little splash of white wine over there. Love of butter if you like. Top each one. It's all about getting flavour into your food, okay? See how simple that is, guys? Yep. A little bit of butter if you like. In the oven. And then Louise is going to do the vegetables to go with that dish.
So just before I start the vegetables there, Chef was saying we have a reduction on here, and you'll see in your recipes it's just with white wine and vinegar, so that will be the base for your beurre blanc sauce. So thinking of time plan again, if you were to prepare your vegetables next, you can have this increasing, just keep an eye on it as you're going. So for the julienne vegetable, just some peeled carrot and courgette here. So first you're just going to try and get them all the same. The uniformity is better for this. So what julienne is, it's like a matchstick cut, so it cooks really fast. So today we're just going to blanch them really fast in some salted what you want back here, and then we're going to stir fry it really quick with a bit of butter and some herbs, just to keep that nice crunch, the nutrition and the colours especially. So an office knife is probably best for this, so you have more control over it. We're just going to go down in strips. Any trimmings like that as well with this. Obviously in the industry you keep these, you do something like some stocks or sauces or soups, and try and have as little waste as possible. So put them in stacks then, and don't have them all the way up high, have them in small so you can control them. And then you're just going to go along like that, with just some nice even matchstick strips. So you can imagine how fast they're going to cook. Out of the two, which do you think would cook faster then? Between the carrots and the courgette? Yeah. So again, you'll pop your carrots in first, give them a few minutes to start cooking, then you'd add your courgettes because they'll take very little time. Again, take your time with this.
I have to admit, the hardest part of cooking is often preparation, chopping. But once you've developed knife skills, it becomes easy. Knife skills, once you get there. It's funny, see Louise doing a great job of that, really good knife skills. You often work with chefs that have amazing knife skills. I work with a lot of German chefs, for some reason, just really, really good with knives. Japanese chefs as well.
Yeah, they do all those carvings and stuff.
Yeah, really good. So it's just practice, guys. It's a couple of good sharp knives and practice. If you nick yourself, you won't do it again.
You better start off with small knives too. They're just easier to control, when you have you're in charge of them. Then you can move on to the bigger choppers. So you probably have enough there, but just do a bit more courgette. There's no harm to always have that bit more cooked, and then, if something goes wrong in you can always go back to a certain point maybe and fix it.
So again, no carbohydrate in this dish that we're demonstrating, but what would you serve with this, do you think, for carb? Potatoes are very nice with this, some kind of potatoes. If you go on to dynamic learning again, there's mostly hundreds of potato dishes in there. Really nice classical French potato dishes as well. Okay. Little pan-fried potato cakes maybe. Something through them would be nice with this.
So we're just going to pop the carrots in first, and then after maybe half a minute or so, pop in the courgettes, because they're going to be pan fried again in a bit of butter, so they are going to get a bit more cooking. So just be aware of that. You still want that nice crunch to the carrot does. I think a big mistake we do, maybe as Irish people in general, is overcook vegetables massively until it's lost all flavour, it's lost its nutritional value and stuff like that. So don't be afraid to have vegetables that little bit under. So it's like al dente, like you have pasta a bit under, and that way you're keeping all the nutrition, the beautiful colours and all that as well.
So I'm going to finish the sauce. What I had in the pan here, as per your recipe, was some white wine and white wine vinegar, and I've reduced it down so I have very little in the pan. So just boiled it until I have very little left, okay? We're going to splash the cream, bring it to the boil, and then we're going to take it off the heat, and we're going to do what's called Monty au beurre, which means to finish with butter. So whisk in some butter to get some nice glossy sauce, okay? So I'm just going to pop that on So I bring it to the boil, then I'm going to just put the little pieces of butter, a little bit at a time, to get a nice glossy sauce, salt and pepper, chopped herbs. Because I have a few prawns left, I'm just going to saute these and serve them with the dish as well, okay? So again, a little bit like the stir fry, a nice hot pan. How long do you think these are going to take to cook, guys? Yeah, 4 to 5 minutes, very much, okay? So a nice hot pan, fry it on, a little bit of butter at the end, maybe a squeeze of lemon juice, some chopped herbs, and that's it. You can add garlic for garlic prawns. You can add chilli for piri prawns. Okay? So, my cream's going to the boil there, and it's really hot. Again, listen to your pan, guys. You want a sizzle. If you don't have a sizzle, then you're not cooking properly, okay? Now, I'm going to take off my cream, and you can use a whisk. I'm just going to kind of shake the pan, a little bit of butter at a time. You don't want to reboil this. You can warm it, but you don't want to reboil it because the butter will curd or cream or split. It's called some crack. Is that an Irish kind of crack? Like when you split something, mayonnaise, is it? crack the
Sorry, I
layers.
see.
I've never heard it before. I've never heard it before, so I'm tired. Split the curd. I've never heard of mayonnaise cracking.
Yeah, I heard it was like mostly yeah.
So a little bit of butter at a time. Louise has got the prawns there. So salt and pepper again, taste, salt and pepper, taste, all about tasting, guys. You can have the most beautiful looking dish on the plate, but if it doesn't taste or anything, you know. And this is a light sauce, it's not a particularly heavy sauce. We've had people put chopped basil and tomato through it and serve it with fish. Ginger. Let's have a little taste of that now. A little bit acidic still. That's nice, you know. It's back on the heat if you need to. The plate's under the grill again, nice hot plate. Fish is nearly ready, you know. And this is why you need to do your time plan, guys, you know. You've got to think about what's going to take longest to cook. How am I going to plate this dish up? You're not going to come in at 9 o'clock in the morning and put your beef straight in the oven. Okay? Because that's basically going to be the last thing you do. So let's think like that. Well, when you send us your projects and your time plan, we look at it and we help you with that. If we see something isn't right on your time plan, that's what we do. And you can email us anytime you want, guys. Okay? Like we had one student, Stephanie, I think she was emailing me every 20 minutes, literally. You know? But we will get back to you as soon as we can. We'll always get back to you within 24 hours, usually on the same day. Okay? And that's what we plan on doing again, obviously, this year. Salt and pepper. We've got a little sauteed prawns here. I'm going to clean this up. You see our lovely prawns cooked there. Okay, taste your sauce again, taste.
So I just have a pan on here again, so we're just going to lightly fry the vegetables, just give them a nice kind of coat of butter, a bit of herbs, a bit of seasoning, and just gives them a nice shine as well.
Again, a few herbs, the prawns, no hole at the end. You have it, a little squeeze of lemon juice. Okay. There we go as well with fish. We've got our lovely vegetables. Another thing that we're going to nice for this would be baby spinach through the vegetables, stuff like that. Big seasoning again.
So these don't need very much cooking. What I just want to do is just to coat them, like I was saying, and season them. And again, you're heating them up because they have kind of been eaten for a while.
So, you know what we've been looking for if you're doing something like that. It's nice even cut vegetables, not overcooked. You know, you're taking your time to research how to cut the vegetables perfect. With the dynamic learning how to do your main stuff. That's what we'll be looking for. And these are very simple dishes, guys. If you look at the standard of the dishes on that video, they blew this out of the water. You know, they really did. Now fish, it's been about 2 minutes, and then we're going to plate this dish up. Then we're going to finish with a little winter salad, guys. You can do vegetarian dishes, obviously. Desserts, we have had desserts. What we decided on desserts now is, if you are going down the dessert route, because Susie's going to be assessing it as a healthy, good mood kind of dish, I know everyone feels fantastic after eating the chocolate pudding, but it's not necessarily the healthiest, okay? So if you are going down the dessert route, start thinking of things, instead of using cream, natural yogurt, creme fraiche, quark, stuff like that, okay? Poached pears, poached meringues. You know, you can easily do healthy desserts, roast fruits, beautiful, roast fruits are stunning, okay? So kind of think along those lines. Yeah, pastry's okay. Pastries, you know, if you're making a bit of pastry, that shows great technical ability. And we've had some amazing pastries over the years.
A lovely vegan chocolate cake, just for example,
Yeah,
last year.
it was a lovely gluten-free one, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Gluten-free and dairy-free chocolate cake. You know, you could serve that with some roast fruits. So if you are going to go down to dessert, just think a little bit outside the box. I think it's something just that little bit healthier, okay? Now, we're going to serve our fish. Now, just a little tip for you, testing fish on how it's cooked, if it's cooked, I should say, is, you know, you can press the fish and you get a feel for it eventually. Problems with that, you know, you often press the fish to see if it flakes and you'll break the fish. Also, if there's skin on it, it's quite hard to do. So well, the way I was actually taught to test fish, my very first head chef at 16 years of age, was with a knife, okay? Pop it into the centre of the fish for 6 seconds, or a metal skewer. Take it out and tap it on the back of your wrist. And what you should have is that reaction, like a hot cup of tea. If you like that, it's not cooked. If you get a big blister and the knife sticks to you, you've overcooked it. So just that hot cup of tea kind of thing, okay? So what we're going to do with this dish, we're just going to very simply present it. We've got our lovely vegetables, you can see the colour there, okay? It's a little pile in the middle of the plate. Again, I'm going to maybe serve 3 pieces or 5 pieces a place. I might have a little bit of waste at the end there, but that's your bit to taste, you know, if you're cooking the dish. A little pile of vegetables in the middle. I love green vegetables with fish. Really
It's
nice.
a bit light and fresh as well.
Yeah, it's lovely, isn't it? Okay, a few prawns. Now this isn't on your recipe, the prawns, but look, I've got them there, so I'm going to use them again. Keep your plate clean, guys. Fish should just come off. I usually put it on a little bit of baking parchment. So think of the flavours, guys. Lemon, prawns, you know, it's all working. There's nothing that's not going to work with this dish. It's a little bit under that piece there, so I might just pop it under the grill. It's a little bit under. Just slightly. There's a bit of prawn there, I can see.
Just keep an eye out for stuff like that as well. Because you'll see today, like my duck is under, at least it's under, and then you can fix it. Whereas if it's over, it's hard to go back on that bit.
Actually, yeah, it's true. It's under. Now, so we're just waiting for them. We have a few little bits of herb here we might put on, a few bit of dill, some little snippets of chive.
I always think of herbs too that would probably match the dish. Like you wouldn't put rosemary with a fish dish most likely. And you go with light herbs like the dill, like the chive, something soft like that. Whereas more robust herbs would probably go better with meat. Like some rosemary and thyme are good with red meat.
Edible flowers is another thing that people use. Yeah, they've got a whole load of grow edible flowers. Easy. Look lovely on the plate. They don't always taste that nice, some of them, but they look good. And you see, we're doing quite classical cooking here. We have had dishes where people have used foams. Okay, Louise, our chef, mentioned there last week, Heston Blumenthal, an air chef in the UK, who does all the kind of molecular gastronomy. So he serves like hot ice creams and snail porridge and bacon and egg ice creams. And he uses a lot of foams, and that's fine. Experiment with them, you know. And one thing I learned recently, because you're always learning when you're cooking, to make a really good foam, use soya milk. Okay, heat it up to the stove just off the boil, then add your basil puree, or your beetroot puree, or your carrot puree, and then foam it up with a hand blender. And you get an amazing foam, you know, amazing foam.
So you don't need all that expensive equipment and stuff that they'd be using. Do it yourself.
Yeah, it's really now. So fish on the plate. Just going to again a little bit of sauce, we'd like to serve some on the side. No harm as well when you're cooking, when you cut your beef or your duck, a little bit of seasoning just on as you serve. And then we're just going to go a little again, not too much sauce.
And not every dish will need a carbohydrate as well. Just to be aware of it. I mean, vegetables themselves are carbohydrates as well, so it doesn't have to have like a spud. We're going to have something alternative.
Okay, a few little herbs. That's it. Is that easy enough, guys? So you've only really got 3 elements to that dish: the sauce, the vegetables, and the fish.
See all the colours pop in that. It's green is great with fish. You know, if you want to make a plate pop.
Okay, so that's your fish. So last one we're going to do, guys, is a little winter salad. Very simple. People often associate salads with summer. We can show tomatoes, cucumber, scallions. This time of year there's beautiful ingredients that you can use on salads. Think of parsnips, carrots, beetroot, okay? All these lovely earthy, autumn, rooty vegetables. And that's what we're going to use. With things like carrots and parsnips, you know, you often roast them at Christmas time, don't you? You know, think of those lovely roast carrots and parsnips. Great way of cooking those root vegetables, okay? Because you caramelise the natural sugars and you get lovely flavours. So we're going to do a really, really simple little salad here. Now this could become your dish, but you'd have to add more to it maybe. This is more something that you would serve with a dish. Maybe you'd serve it with some pan-fried scallops or some monkfish or something like that. It would work really well. So very simple. What I did was I took some butternut squash. You all familiar with butternut squash? Kind of vegetable. Peeled it, took out the seeds. I roasted it in the oven for about 20 minutes with a little bit of oil. You see it's lovely caramelised, okay? Brought out the lovely flavours. You can do carrots, beetroot, celery, parsnip, etc. I caramelised a few onions in a pan, okay? Just a low frying pan, a little bit of oil, took about 10 minutes. Just till, again, all the sugars are caramelised. I have some fresh beetroot. I'm going to put a scallion in because I have it there. And we're just going to put a really simple little salad together. Blue cheese, okay, some Irish blue cheese. Works really well with the sweetness of the beetroot and the butternut squash and the onions. So beetroot here. Boil that to cook it, not the pickled stuff now. We're using fresh beetroot. You can boil it, you can bake it in the oven.
I'm just toasting some pine nuts here again, guys, just for another crunch factor for the salad. Probably always recommend to toast seeds and nuts and all that when you're putting them in dishes, just because it brings out the flavour of them more. So if you put them in just as is, you're not going to get that nice pine nut flavour from it. So by toasting it, you're enhancing the flavour.
I'm going to put a few scallions in because I have them there. What do you think seeds are nice in salads, guys? What do you think they're nice in salads? Gives it texture, gives it a crunch, okay? So things like croutons, seeds, rather than just having a bowl of limp salad that has no texture, try and think of something that will give it texture again, okay? So what we're going to do, very simply with this, Louise has toasted up the pine nuts. I have a plate here. I'm not going to heat the plate for a salad, obviously. I'm just going to start arranging our ingredients on the plate. The chef made a really good point last week actually, that is, I know you can sit something, it's really important that you can, let them see all the flavours. Don't just throw it all into a bowl, top it with your beetroot or whatever, kind of arrange it nicely on the plate so you can see all the ingredients and the flavours and the stuff that they're getting, okay? My caramelised onions I have here.
It's a lot more common than I've seen plated salads like that.
I love salads. I like salads. You can be so creative with salads. And really, it doesn't get much healthier, a good salad. So imagine that now, a little medallions of monkfish, or that, or little pan-fried scallops. That would be a really, really good dish. Then I do have a few leaves. I don't have all the recipe, but I have a few little rocket leaves here. Again, you can get some local organic leaves.
Go out foraging and pick some sour leaves or something like that, They're in season all year round. Somebody asked us last week about seaweeds as well, so don't be afraid to go out and try things like that. There's some lovely sea spaghettis, seaweeds, sea lettuce, and look for it and find out what tastes good with your dish maybe.
Blue cheese, you can use feta cheese, there's sheep's cheese being produced in Ireland now, there's amazing cheeses, and that just adds a little bit of saltiness to the dish. It works really well with sweetness. A few scallions. And a little toasted pine nuts, just to get the texture. If you look at that dish, guys, it's got that winter autumn colours to it, hasn't it? Which again is keeping it seasonal. A few chives as I've got on there. Now, all I'm going to do, you could make a little dressing. I normally use some red wine vinegar. I forgot to bring balsamic vinegar, so I'm just going to add a little bit of white wine vinegar over the salad. And I've got my extra virgin olive oil, so just goes a little bit of oil.
When you're dressing something as well, don't do it to the very last minute because it will start to wilt and fall apart. And also you want the other flavours to come through, so less is more, and then you can always have some on the side. Again, like the sauce area. So if you want to show off the dressing you've made.
Season your salads as well, guys. Don't be afraid. Sea salt, flakes, lovely. Give it a little crunch, okay? And that's a nice little kind of autumn winter salad, okay? So that could be part of a dish, etc. Is that easy enough, guys? Yeah. Right. Any questions, guys? First of all, please have some questions. Because we love questions. Anything, okay? If it's food, the apprentice chef, career-wise. Is there anyone thinking of a career in culinary? Food. And it doesn't have to be a chef. It could be a dietitian. It could be a food blogger. It could be a food writer. You could be an environmental health officer.
Food stylist is a big thing now.
Yeah.
So food styling, so like you'll be styling people for photo shoots, you'll style food for photo shoots. So it's a big, massive thing now. Also blogging is huge, or vlogging. So like it is with cosmetics and all that.
Any questions, guys? No questions.
So for to ask you a question, we have an answer.
So, what we're going to do, guys, firstly, thanks a million. Thanks for the teachers, okay, for bringing you along, and thanks for putting up for us for the best part of half a day. Mark is going to just pull the teachers aside, I think, at the end, just to give them an information pack on the dynamic learning. What you want to do is take pictures, guys. If one person from each school just comes up and takes a picture, because then at least whoever goes forward for this has got photographic evidence, okay? So I want to see pictures taken, guys, okay? It's important that you have photographic evidence. But apart from that, really, just on behalf of all the Apprentice chef teams, thanks a million, guys, and hopefully we'll see you back here pretty shortly. And any questions you have, email us. The teachers have the main email. Just get on to the teachers and just email any questions you have whatsoever, okay? And I'll answer them straight away. Thanks a million, guys. Thank you.
As well, guys, sorry, just one last thing. If you have any rubbish or anything like that, would you mind just popping them into the bins on your way out? Thanks.
Right, guys, if you want to come up and take a photograph of these dishes here for yourselves, so okay, yeah? You understand how the works, don't you?
It's going to be great every time to see
Yeah, the different.
different ones, especially as you see the Welsh style. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm gonna hit off my phone anyway. I'm sure you'll be intrigued to see.
Did you think that was nice? See yourself cooking that?